Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading, tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Hope you are happy and healthy and enjoying your journey to becoming more and more yourself. So grateful for each of you in this space. This is a co-creative experience. So I'm so grateful for so many of you. Right now, today, Wednesday the 17th, I'm doing Saturday's reading. And I'm about 500 subscribers away from 30,000. And I'm just tickled. I didn't know when I started this if there would be an audience for these messages, for my messages, the way I translate them. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm just so grateful for each of you. So grateful for the supportive comments. So grateful for those of you who just keep showing up. So, all right, let's get to this reading. All right, enough of this stuff, this soft stuff. Let's get hard now. Oh, well, Ace of Wands. Boy, that's so inappropriate. What this card represents in the overall energy is your highest excitement. So, all right. This is just a spark. You have to keep adding to this. So I've used the energy of following my highest excitement to help guide me, to help make choices, to help lead me in directions. Excitement comes from lower chakras. Solar plexus, sacral, a feeling space of, ooh, I want to, oh, it's a yes. I'm really curious about it. And if you can't get excitement or inspired, ooh, I would love that. That would be really cool. That's a spark of excitement. And then it helps you take action. We are in the 3D. And so if you want to make change, you got to make different actions. How do you know your excitement that this contains everything? You just keep following it, but if it shifts and suddenly you're not excited, that's information. Just stop going in that direction. Reconfigure. So just following the excitement for the excitement of it, for the joy of the experience. This has gotten me out of a lot of analyzing. Well, if I go do this, then it might lead to that. And that doesn't contain, that's a lot of trying to create out in the future. This is where it's all is, because we only have now. Continuous now. Present time is where all your power is. And so when you take action on things that are exciting, it's saying, now, do this. Go for that. When something changes, if something changes and it no longer creates that spark, do something else. Go after whatever else creates the most excitement. Anything else that the viewer needs to know about this? Okay, Eight of Pentacles is a challenge. So are you challenged to, feels like work is not exciting, does not fulfill your highest excitement. Okay, there's something at work. It feels that needs rebalancing, temperance, and the Knight of Pentacles. So Temperance is my energy for alchemizing. Feels like there's this portal here, this doorway, but before you can go into that doorway, you're needing to balance your strengths, desires with those higher chakras. Your desires versus your thoughts and your belief systems. It looks like there's some alchemizing before you can take a next step. There's also some get rich quick kind of energy that I'm getting instead of putting the work in. Not necessarily where you're at. It feels like you might not be excited about the work that you do. There's something about cultivating what you want along the way. When you do something, when your work provides you with an income, with financial stability, and if it's something that continues to bring your highest excitement, then all that time that you're spending at work, you are enjoying. You're learning more about that. It feels like there's something that you'd rather be doing in regards to work. Something that's needing to be balanced out here. Let's continue on to hidden blessings. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. For me, Six of Pentacles is learning how to invest. Who to invest in, what to invest in. Six of Pentacles in reverse. It feels like there's a hidden blessing in learn of who not to invest in. It doesn't have to be good, bad, black, white. It could just be not a good investment. It just doesn't work for you. And there's something, it feels like you're pulling your investments, pulling your energy from situations and people that just don't work, that don't align with what you're interested in. And it feels like this is in the hidden blessings. So I think there's some wisdom here of just recognizing what doesn't work and stop giving into something that's not working. Make the shift. Okay. There's something here about false dreams, false illusions, and no action. That something feels not as interesting as it once was. It feels like there's a lot of imagining in this space that I'm seeing, but an inability to kind of bring the dream space into reality. I don't know, you might have a different dream. And so it's not that it's a bad dream or a bad imagining. It just doesn't feel like it's a good fit with the Four of Cups. It feels like it lost its interest, not as interesting. Didn't know how to take action in the space. It feels like a blessing to recognize who and what doesn't work for you without having to catastrophize and make it awful. Just recognizing who works and who doesn't. Who works with you, who doesn't, where's the synergy, where's the spark. And it feels like something shifted here. And so you're learning, it's a hidden blessing to pull energy away from what doesn't work. All right, what you're leaving behind is the Ten of Wands in reverse. Releasing burdens. Releasing burdens. Being burdened. Wands. A lot of action. So you're leaving behind a lack of action, a lack of spark. There might be that spark there, but like I said, it's a spark. You've got to keep adding to this with action, with desire. It's got to, it feels like, so that excitement leads to action in the 3D. And this feels like there's a lot of desire, but no action. All right. So it feels like you're leaving that behind. Ooh, Ten of Swords in reverse, Ace of Wands now in reverse. You're leaving this behind. So this is good. There's some cycle with the tens. It feels like you're leaving a cycle where you feel overburdened, unheard, poor communication here as well. Maybe painful and feeling burdened. It feels like this is why the spark went out. Feeling overburdened, not sure what actions to take. Oh, yeah, there's something about the actions. Maybe the actions aren't sparking joy. There's communication, a lack of proper communication, and it looks like that kind of, you lost your spark because of that. All right, how to get the most of this energy is Five of Pentacles in reverse. So Five of Pentacles upright, these people feel abandoned. They're outside of sanctuary space. They're in the cold, feeling completely abandoned. Five of Pentacles in reverse for me is self-abandonment. Getting out of a difficult situation or self-abandonment. So let's see which this is. Okay. There's something with Two of Pentacles in reverse, Hanged Man reversed, Seven of Cups, Moon reversed. There's some decision. There's some decision here to get yourself out of financial difficulty. I don't get, it feels like not making that decision. Feels like you would have to abandon yourself and abandon your spark to be in this environment. And if you don't have your spark, if you don't want to be there, I could see that. It feels like this environment isn't expansive enough for you to be yourself. You have to abandon yourself. Feels like someone let their mask down and you were able to see a new perspective of them that gave you enlightenment, that you saw more what you're dealing with. And this made you consider your options, because this feels like less options. With the Moon in reverse, there's just too much hidden that you didn't see on the surface. But once you started getting into this, you start seeing more. It feels, it's maybe at first it is a spark. But it feels like the longer you're in this, it's just not a good fit. All right. What's supporting you is the Nine of Swords in reverse, getting out of a comfort zone, facing your fears. What's the comfort zone that the viewer is getting out of? What's the comfort zone? What does the viewer need to know about how the Nine of Swords in reverse? Okay, Three of Pentacles. You're facing your fears, getting out of a comfort zone and putting yourself out there to work well with others, collaborate with others. That energy is definitely supporting you. Maybe you faced your fears by following this, got out of a comfort zone. Maybe it's not fully a good fit, but that's okay, because it feels like you're figuring out how to get out of some type of comfort zone. Maybe working by yourself, and so this is working with others. Three of Pentacles, collaborating, working, figuring out. That is difficult. How to work well with others. And in the Three of Pentacles, the original, there's three people in that energy. They're come together to build like a huge project. Collaborating, each at different skill levels, but each brings something very necessary to the project. Feels like that's what you're looking for, what you're interested in. Oh, I love this. And with Sun card in reverse, it feels like it's been hard to find this. Hard to find this happiness in collaborating with others. But look at this, High Priestess and Ace of Cups. So High Priestess is unlimited potential. She's got this column that's dark column and a light column. And she's in between the dark and the light. She knows how to utilize both energies. She has no roof over her head, so she has unlimited potential. She keeps things to herself. These messages that help guide her. And it feels like I'm talking to somebody who's very intuitive, very connected, or can be in regards to this. You have unlimited potential. And it feels like you're kind of figuring out between the light and the dark where you are, what you want. So this Ace of Cups, feels like flow state, learning how to fill your own cup first before she's got 5 streams flowing out. So once she's learned how to fill her cup, I'm saying she because there's literally a statue of a female energy in there. Once you have learned how to fill your own cup and get into that flow state, when you're in flow state, when you take care of your own needs first, then the overflow, being in that space, you can give to others. But you can't give from an empty cup. So there's something about following your spark, Ace of Wands, and then getting into that flow state. Filling your own cup first before you give to others feels very important here. And using your intuition. Trusting your intuition. All right, anything else? That feels complete. All right, what to be mindful of is the Seven of Wands in reverse. So, Seven of Wands upright is protection. Boundaries, healthy boundaries, protecting, fighting for, you have something worth protecting. Seven of Wands in reverse is feeling vulnerable for me. This is my card of not feeling protected, not feeling safe, guarded, not being vulnerable, unprepared, not ready. That also is a Seven of Wands upright element, not feeling ready. Seven of Wands in reverse is not feeling protected, feeling vulnerable. Okay. So Chariot reversed. If you're feeling vulnerable, if you've lost the spark and you don't want to fight for this, then it's a challenge to move with this energy. You can't move on. Can't make moves in the 3D, in this vulnerable state, nor does it feel like you should make moves. Oh, there's the should. All right. What does the viewer need to know? What do they need to be mindful of when they're vulnerable and they can't make moves? They can't move on from this, or they find it challenging to move on? Okay, Eight of Swords also is a challenge to this energy. There's some limited beliefs that are keeping you vulnerable and unable to move on from this story, from whatever this is that you've been in. Then what are the limiting beliefs that are... All right. Okay. Three of Swords. That's the upright, and then it's challenged by a bunch of cards. So, you're feeling vulnerable because of betrayal and unable to move on. Queen of Pentacles in reverse coming out as a first challenge to this betrayal. Feeling unstable. Okay, it's hard to be in this co-creative experience if you're coming from a space where you're still transmuting and bringing balance before you can kind of go into that doorway, is what I'm seeing. And slowly build, slowly kind of cultivate what you prefer. Abraham Hicks would say you can't get there from there vibrationally. If you're coming from a place, a wounded place, where you're feeling hurt, betrayed, unprotected, and vulnerable, and if you've got that story going on, it's hard to change that and work with others. So you gotta, it feels like there's some relationship beliefs. Yeah, all right. Two of Cups is a challenge. Partnership is a challenge because of some betrayal. And so now maybe you've got some, it feels like some unmet needs. The unmet needs are being able to protect yourself from betrayal. And so it feels like those unmet needs have created a lot of belief systems to keep yourself safe instead of figuring out how to meet your needs and feel protected, be protected. A lot of times betrayal, the root comes from self-betrayal, where you betray yourself. So that might be a good place to start investigating. If you're hearing what I'm saying as shame, or you did something wrong, then you might not be ready for these messages. Because I'm just honestly looking at the belief systems and the energies. And a lot of us have so much protective shame. We can't be wrong. It's hard to look at our shadows because we don't want to be bad or wrong. And so we spend a lot of time protecting our ego and protecting the shame instead of feeling the shame. So shame for me feels kind of like, someone described it as white hot, and I forget what person said that, and I was like, yes, shame feels like a iron, white hot iron, so hot, so awful to feel, and it triggers a lot of base chakra issues, because in community, when you're a child and you're raised with a lot of shame to control and manipulate your behavior, then you are told correctly that your behavior is directly related to being fed, being housed, being taken care of. Not because you are a loving individual worthy of unconditional love, but there's some type of hoops that you need to jump through, ways you need to behave in order to get food, your needs met. And so there's a lot of shame. You're bad, you don't fit in, which really did trigger worry about your survival as a child. And so you start creating, you don't want to be bad. That's the worst thing possible. But as an adult, we have all these belief systems and all these unhealed wounds. A lot of the wounds are from unmet needs that have belief systems built on them. I'm unsafe. I'm not taken care of. I'm vulnerable as a child. So maybe you created a belief system off of that unmet need, not being cared for unconditionally, not being loved, your needs not being met, with a belief that says something like, I must be awful. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad kid. Something like that, which creates more and more toxic belief systems that aren't true. But you're trying to keep yourself safe in that environment. And so going through and finding those belief systems and letting them go, realizing, oh, I don't believe that, and you can free yourself. All right. It looks like there's something here also about abandoning yourself in connections, maybe with other people. If what I've been describing sounds familiar to what you've experienced in life, then you were taught to abandon yourself, to stop caring for yourself, to stop having needs, because that makes you difficult, having needs. So you were probably taught to abandon yourself, and chronically abandoning your own needs and wants, your own emotions to make everybody else comfortable, creates betrayal, because at the heart of it you have abandoned yourself and you keep betraying yourself. So it feels like you're ready, whoever I'm talking to find your courage, your inner strength. This strength card is your inner strength. Chariot is outward action, outward movement strength, and this is internal. Facing your fears gives you confidence. Not allowing your fears to keep you small and facing them, going into it, a lot of times very quickly you realize on the other side, oh, that wasn't that bad. I was so worried about that. Reminds me of that otter. There's a baby otter in a rehab facility. There's just a video, and it's this first otter swim, like in a bathtub or a small pool or something, and the baby otter's like, squeaking, oh my gosh, I can't. That's that fear. And if that otter stayed there, he would have never gone in the water, even though he's made for water. And once he was kind of eased in, about 30 seconds, and then he's like, oh, this isn't bad. I got that. It takes that type of courage. Usually a small amount of time to get to the other side of that fear and show yourself what you're made of. So I'm going to leave the reading here. I'm going to do an extended reading on Patreon. There's a link in the description box below, says extended reading here. Excuse me. So if this has been resonating and you want to continue, I'm about halfway through the reading. In part 2, we'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So I'll see you over there. And if not, have an amazing rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your expansion, of your evolution, whatever small role I play. It's just beautiful. So, all right, take care. Have a great weekend.